Hey guys, I am Big and Scary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay. This time it is going to be Game 4 featuring Clan Sqeht versus Clan NoN-eSports. Representing Team Sqeht is Complain in our top left-hand side, our mid-masters Israeli Terran, and in the bottom right we have from Team NoN-eSports, Toki. Toki, I don't know. I have no idea. He is off of Team 1 of NoN-eSports, so he's very, very good. However, his birth date is supposed to be 1970, which means he's like a mid-40s male. I don't know. The picture that I saw of him did not look like mid-40s, but hey, you know, maybe he's got one of those anti-aging creams, or maybe he just put in a birth date into the the website that is not 100% accurate. Regardless, he's good at the game because he's tier 1, and he is our purple Protoss, which means he's got excellent fashion sense as well. We are on Belshir Vistage, which is a fantastic map, especially for this play, because you really have all sorts of different terrain to use and abuse. Especially, like, you got this huge open ground and then a little bit of choke, and you can play any play style you want to on this map. It's a great map. I really like casting on it because it really allows you to shape the game in the pathway that you want to choose. Complain proceeding down the same pathway that he proceeded down in the last game, the TVT that he took, and we got the barracks right by the refinery. Not worrying about a wall off just yet. He's going to be relying on the fact that he gets his marine out very early, and the fact that Belshir Vistage is very large to lock down any sort of scouting that could be coming out of Toki. It looks like we've got a gateway first build coming out with that assimilator. Could be that he's going to be throwing down a nexus after that gateway expand, or he's going to be working on tech just a little bit. He is getting off that gas, but it's Protoss. He's going to get gas regardless. Only 2 workers in the tab now. Oh, there goes a 3. There goes 3. I thought it was going to be doing one of those really cool timing where you get 2 workers in each geyser and you have like exactly as much gas as you need. I guess it's gone out of style right now because of that mothership core, though. A Reaper coming out from Complain, which is a cool play, really cool play, especially given the vertical aspects of this map. It looks like you've only got one place to lock down, and with a mothership core and a soccer, it totally is capable of locking down any sort of harassment coming out from the Reaper, at least in your main base. But remember, you've got 2 walls that you can jump up on, and if you jump up of this one, you can jump down this one and be totally away from the enemy base in a matter of seconds. And then with the Reaper's ability to regenerate, a great play here, especially if it's going to transition to something else. He is moving with that reactor coming out. Where is the factory going to be going down is the main question, as well as the CC. CC coming up on the high ground, which is a little bit different than the last one. He's a little bit more worried, I think. He has a little bit more respect for Toki than he did of his last opponent, just being able to do some aggression. Remember, it is Protoss and it was Terran last time, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of a discrepancy in build order. Mothership Core coming out is going to have no problem at all at making the Reaper shy away, not being able to take out any of those pros, but is getting a very valuable scout. Seeing the Nexus going up on the low ground, seeing that the Cybernetics Core is working on Warp Gate tech, and we have double assimilators. But more importantly, the fact that the Chrono Boost was not being spent on the Cybernetics Core tells Complain that he's probably not going to be dealing with some super early aggression. Moving in with the Reaper just one more time, hoping to see if there was any weird facility being thrown down, and getting the scout on that robo facility is clutch. Totally important. Especially because he's not seeing a buttload of gateways being thrown down too. He's going to know that Toki's working towards that tech. He's working towards getting up that observer so that he can actually see what Complain is doing. Complain CC is almost done. The Nexus is totally finished on the low ground and is beginning to saturate. However, Toki's not 100% ahead by way of economy. I mean, he's got more harvesters, but that orbital command, once it comes out, is going to hit like a ton of bricks. He's going to have a lot of extra minerals. And remember, the second gas is only being tapped right now, so Complain has been heavily investing in minerals, and he's investing in mineral units. He's got that reactor up, and he's been producing a lot of Marines. He's got plenty of Marines to deal with the Mothership Core if she wants to get frisky. However, she is staying back at home, accumulating energy with that sentry, meaning that he'll be able to shell down a photon overcharge on that Nexus to deal with any aggression that could be forthcoming from Complain. A nice play here, getting that very early scout from the Phoenix, and it's because he didn't want to spend extra money on the observer to get it out chrono boosted. We have the robotics facility starting on that observer right now, but it is a little bit delayed. I mean, the robotics facility was done for a good 20 seconds before that observer started. Robo Bay, though, super early Colossus, and that is absolutely going to shred those mineral heavy units that I was talking about from Complain. He's got a lot of Marines out on the field, but nothing else. And this early macro Colossus is really going to make it so that Complain's not going to be able to punish Toki. Now this could proceed in two different pathways. I've seen this build before, and I've seen it go on two different ways. One is an incredibly powerful all-in. You throw down a lot of gateways, more than just one. You throw down like 4 or 5 gateways, and you go when you have 2 or 3 Colossus right as range finishes. And that is very, very powerful. You stick around on 2 base for a very long period of time, and you do, oh yeah, and there goes the Extended Thermal Lance. So yeah, this is looking like an all-in coming out from Toki that's going to hit in a good 3 or 4 minutes time. The other pathway for this, though, is to throw it on that third and rely on your Colossus to make it so that Complain really can't punish you too much. Complain doesn't have combat shields. His Marines are going to be very delicate to the AoE from these Colossus. He's got Stim and +1 coming up, and then he'll be hitting at about the 10-minute mark, and he'll be able to push and do a little bit of damage to that Nexus. But with the Colossus out and the Mothership, he'll have no issues. Toki will have no issues at denying that aggression too much, making it so it doesn't have to pay too much damage. I think what Complain is waiting for is that first round of medevacs coming out. Yeah, very typical timing here for Terran. Definitely not an all-in. He's going to be expanding behind this, I'm sure. He's setting himself up for victory is what I'm saying. I think Complain is setting himself up to macro behind this, just do a little bit of damage but not go super all in. We have a Marine scouting out, checking out that third, and that's going to be warning signs right here, is that, you know, there's nothing going on right now. Toki has not formed any form of aggression. He's got that second Colossus coming out. The super early Extended Thermal Lance is going to be finishing, and with that he's adding on a lot of gateways. He's got his 2 forges coming up, +1/+1, and that's, I think, what this all-in is going to be waiting for. The third still hasn't been taken. There goes the scan. He's going to see the Colossus as well as the sentries, and Complain goes, nope, just turn around and run away. He's probably going to load up one of his medevacs, maybe 2 of them, and actually do some drop aggression, but that is going to be totally dependent upon where those Colossus are. And yeah, good game sense here from Toki, repositioning his stalkers, make it so he can actually intercept those medevacs in great position from that Mothership, allowing him to throw down that photon overcharge. Unfortunately, that Mothership goes down, and at the same time there's a stim and run by of Marines and Marauders into the mineral line for that natural. Looks like the first drop has been pushed away, and again those Colossus have no issues dealing with that drop, especially with that Extended Thermal Lance. Think about how powerful this could be if Toki decided to take a third on this. Obviously he's gearing up for an all-in. He's got those gateways coming up, +1/+1 almost finishing, Blink 2. This is going to be devastating. However, he's waiting, and he's waiting for those upgrades to finish. He's waiting for that next Colossus. Like I said, it usually takes place with that third Colossus. And at the same time, we have that command center finishing in the top right-hand side. The more time Toki gives Complain's just going to run with it. He's going to continually gear up and get more and more powerful units, and get a higher Marauder count, less Marine count, less delicate to these Colossus. Those Colossus do arrive, despite the loss of 2 gateways, not the worst thing in the world. Imagine if those guys had made their way into the mineral line and actually sacked half of Toki's economy. That would have been devastating. But doesn't matter how many drops Complain does, he's not going to be able to hold back this aggression. And with 1-1 finishing and the Colossus coming out, I foresee that Toki's going to be moving out in just a handful of seconds. And with that is going to go all this sentries, only 3 sentries. I wonder if he lost one in the last fight. Usually you see about 4 or 5. Another drop going down, another lost stalker count, but the gateways are so easily replaced. We have 2 more being constructed. Really, this is more annoyance than anything else. And then once Blink finishes, those stalkers are going to have an even easier time at dealing with this aggression. Yeah, we have more stalkers being added in. Blink is finally done, +2 started immediately. Still no third. Still no third. Toki is running out of time. I mean, not running out of time. He knows exactly what he's doing, but he's preparing for that. And yeah, fantastic. This is what I'm talking about. Toki is beginning to aggressively posture himself. He's still got a couple of the stalkers back at home, and with Blink he'll be able to shut down that the medevac aggression. Now only with 5 hit points left, I don't think that medevac's going to be able to be aggressive. This is pretty ballsy, moving out with just a handful of zealots to protect those Colossus, but he's also got those sentries to be able to throw down a bunch of force fields, and then the rest of the standing force from Toki, accompanied by a probe to throw down a proxy pylon, is beginning to move off to the third. Proxy pylon goes down just south side of that third. This is probably going to be the main point of aggression for Toki. If he can take that third, he can afford to just pull back and sit back and relax, and then take his own third and and justify this all-in approach. Regardless, this is an incredibly intimidating force. I mean, this in and of itself is intimidating, but he also has this contingent of blink stalkers waiting in the wings, just waiting to pounce, taking out the rocks just so he can get that perfect concave. I guess not. Pushing forward to the third. Here comes the SCVs. Here comes the stem. But no, there goes the force fields. Got to be careful. So many Vikings are going to be shelling down a lot of extra damage. But there goes the blink stalkers. This is really, really well done by both players. Not only did Complain, once he saw those Colossus start to just churn out those Vikings, but he's also repositioned his army so that it's no longer as mineral heavy as it used to be. He's got a lot of these Marauders out there. They've got Marauder slow, which means they're incredibly resilient to those Zealots, as well as making it so that the Stalkers are not nearly as mobile as they should be, and those Stalkers are going to have a hard time dealing with these Vikings, with those Marauders shelling down a lot of extra damage. Not a lot of energy on the Stalkers anymore, only one force field coming out, and by Stalkers I mean sentries. Man, those Vikings are doing so much damage, shelling down 2 of those Colossus within seconds. However, the sheer plethora of Stalkers underneath have managed to crush all of the Vikings. Here comes the pull, the desperation pull of all those SCVs, and it looks like the last Colossus is going to go down. No, it manages to micro out of the way. All the Zealots have gone down, though, and it is beginning to only 60 hit points left. And here comes the stem from Complain, sending a small number of suicidal Marauders to push forward, has succeeded in breaking this all-in from Toki. And now, what does Toki have? He doesn't have a third. He's taking a third, but he doesn't have it. And the third is fully saturated by Complain. Yes, Complain has lost every single one of his SCVs. You switch over to the economic tab, 48 over 44 Harvesters, so definitely much more even than it appears. However, Toki lost his all-in. He's got all those upgrades. He's got all that tech. He doesn't have the economy to re-macro. He's producing his Colossus. He's producing his Charge. He's getting his Templar Archive up, but he needs this third. He needs to have thrown down that third Nexus whenever he was pushing into the third here. Maybe instead of trying to engage that force in that narrow choke with those force fields, maybe those force fields could have cut in half Complain's force, and then he would have only had to deal with half of those Marauders at a time. All things considered now, I would heavily give this an advantage of Complain, not only for 88 over 120 for the supply count, but also the fact that those Marauders are going to be able to crush the only thing that Toki can afford to create right now, which are those Stalkers. He's producing those Colossus out there. He's getting Charge for those Zealots, which is definitely going to help. But right now, Toki is definitely on the back foot. What he's trying to do right now is just harass with these Stalkers to make it so that Complain cannot march across the map and actually deal damage to the third, because Toki needs to get that economic edge. He needs to get that third up, get it saturated, and start churning out those Colossus again, because once these Marauders decide to, they're going to make a Nexus very, very dead very, very quickly. On the back of this, we do have the medevac production having to be started again, because those Stalkers have really been doing a number on the medevac count. We only have 1 medevac accompanying this. Okay, 2 medevacs, fine. 2 medevacs accompanying this, and only 1 of them on the production tab right now, and it's because those Stalkers have been doing such a good job of keeping that medevac number in check. Don't discount that. That is very important, because this bio ball is not going to be nearly as intimidating, because the possibility for a drop isn't as present. And even if it was just 2 medevacs like this, they're not even bringing in a tenth of that army. And with these Stalkers in position, they immediately focus down those medevacs, and that's a pretty big loss for Complain. However, it's not enough loss to deter him. He is pushing off down to the bottom left-hand side to deal some damage to this third. There is a small complement accompanied with High Templars, and they do have Storm. So a lot of AoE potential here. Enough to give Complain pause. Toki has really rebounded very well from that initial loss. 130 over 150 supply. Remember, he did do a healthy chunk to the economy. In fact, let's check out that workers kill tab. 24 in the favor of Toki. That is definitely intimidating. However, Complain out of nowhere pushing down into the natural, and the third army is very out of position. But at the same time, Toki once again being very clever and smart with his Stalkers, distracting Complain, maybe so Complain doesn't push into that natural until that army is in position, and that bought Toki just enough time. This is great play from both players. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. Dark Shrine coming down too. Will there be enough time? That Dark Shrine takes a lot of time to build. It's only about halfway done right now. Shields are started. No, yeah, he meant to do armor, because right now he's on 3 weapons and 2 armor. We have 2-1 for Complain right now, but all these Marauders, man, they're going to be doing so much damage. The dichotomy of which one do you build. Complain is stuck right now. He needs to either build Vikings to deal with the Colossus or Medivacs to help his Marauders. And because those Stalkers have been controlled so very well, he's really stuck in between choosing one or the other. Here comes the push. Oh no! Just outside of range, he sees one or two of those Zealots. The Marauders are pushing in, doing just a little bit of damage. However, more to the fact he wanted to know where that standing force was. Something that Complain is currently missing in his in-game composition, and we are approaching the in-game right now, are these ghosts. He's got 4 of them on the production tab, but there's none right here. They won't be able to throw down that EMP, and that EMP is so very important because they prevent the storms from going on. Where are those storms? 4 High Templars in here, and they've been accumulating energy for a very long period of time. They'll be able to throw down at least 2 storms, probably 3 apiece, and that is a lot. That's a lot of damage, man. That is just absolutely devastating. I don't think they can throw down 3. Do they have enough energy? It's 75 for 1 storm, and they have 200 energy. So, yeah, no, they don't. I have no idea. It's math. I don't do math. Oh, my goodness. Complain electing to take a 4th rather than actually push into the 3rd to actually force that engagement. But Toki does not want that engagement to go up. Here comes the push. Where are the storms? There's the storms. Oh, my goodness. Brutal storms on the majority of that force. However, the sheer volume of Marines and Marauders is enough to break the back of Toki. Toki losing 50 supply, Complain barely losing any, and now he's got this massive force. Now he's got this massive opening down into the 3rd, taking out that pylon, but then he's going to be pushing down into the 3rd in just a handful of seconds. The Colossus up on the high ground, accompanied by a fresh Colossus, is not going to be enough to hold this back. Where are the storms? Oh, they're Archons now. They doesn't have any AoE from them. The Ghosts are now added into this mix. There goes the EMPs, making those Archons a lot less dangerous than they would be. Everything is cleaned up. It looks like Toki is going to have to tap out. There goes the admission of defeat. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. That was so cool. Yeah, normally you see those little back and forth kind of skirmishes like that just go in one massive battle. Frankly, whenever I saw Toki come up here and lose his all-in, I was like, oh, it's an all-in. He's done. It's over. This game is over. I can cast this with my sleep. I can just switch over to the idle screen and it described to you what's happening. We don't even need to watch this. And then all of a sudden, Toki's like, no, I did enough economic damage. I can throw down my 3rd. I can get back in this. I mean, the harvester count is even in the advantage of Toki. So despite the 3rd already being constructed from Complain, the advantage wasn't all in his corner. The advantage was the fact that Complain had this massive standing force. He had all of these guys still alive back at home. And what he should have done was just push out and crush that 3rd immediately. I think he could have done it. Despite how large this map is, those Marines and Marauders would have been able to come out and just absolutely demolish, force a cancel or destruction of that 3rd, pardon me, of that 3rd, and Toki would have been done. I mean, 2 bases against a 3 base Terran in full swing with that sort of advantage, no, that would have been it. However, Complain got distracted by Toki playing around with his Stalkers so much, and he was so incredibly just devilish with those Stalkers that Complain couldn't afford to push out to that 3rd. He got distracted by it, continually lost Medivacs, couldn't do any drop harassment at all, and that was awesome play from there. Toki's micro is top drawer, but Complain just a powerhouse. What a beast. And by the way, we're tied up now. We're 2-2. Clan Sqeht at 2, and now Toki at 2, and Nani at 2. Oh man, NoN-eSports. That's the team. NoN-eSports. But FYI, Complain has taken 2 maps, and NoN's oh man, I casted 2 of his games already. The Soulflare, Soulfleur has taken 2 games, so that means that the ace match is coming up. The next one for the it's best of 7, so both players need to take 2. But I believe the next game is Sqeht's Complain against NoN-eSports' Soulflare. So that's going to be an absolutely fantastic game because evidently Complain totally knows how to play against Protoss. He knows how to play against Terran. Can he play against Zerg? Because Soulflare is currently unstoppable. Find out next time. I am Big and Scary. I will see you guys later. Bye.